In this video, we're going to take a look at information about your PMP exam fundamentals, as well as some exam tips for the PMP exam. First, let's take a look at our professional prerequisites necessary in order to take the PMP exam. You must complete 35 contact hours of learning before you can sit for the exam. Your PMP bootcamp, provided by the Project Management Academy, meets this requirement for your 35 credit hours. Next to that, for those of you with a 4-year bachelor's degree or educational equivalent, you must show and register that you have acquired at least 4,500 hours of professional project management process experience, or if you have a high school diploma equivalent, you must show that you have 7,500 hours of project-related experience. Your experience must be non-overlapping and must be in leading and directing those project processes. It's not enough to have just been a participant in your projects. You must have engaged in a leadership role of any of the project processes in your 5x10 framework. Lastly, with your 4-year degree or equivalent, your experience must encompass 36 months of work, but go back no further than 8 years in your career. With high school diploma, your experience must encompass 60 months of work and go back no further than 8 years as well. So what are we tested on? The exam for both the PMP and the CAPM is based on the Project Management Body of Knowledge Guide and some other unspecified project management tasks. Keep in mind that you may have questions on things not directly mentioned in that PMBOK guide, but to help with this consideration, over the years, PMA has added those kinds of materials not necessarily directly contained within the PMBOK in your bootcamp packets. All right, so let's look at the exam itself. This 4-hour exam consists of 200 multiple choice questions. Be advised that 25 of those questions are experimental. That's because Project Management Institute is constantly looking for ways to improve and evolve the exam so that it's relevant and modern. Recognize that it's impossible to tell the difference between an experimental question and a real question on your exam. So be sure to answer all 200 questions as though they are the real thing. If you're sitting for the CAPM or Certified Associate in Project Management, your prerequisites are a little less stringent. For example, educational contact hours, you don't require 35 hours, only 23. You need only also show that you have a high school diploma or equivalent and show 1,500 hours as a team member or project participant. Finally, there's no experience requirement from the CAPM because there's no time limitations. You can be taken at any time in your career and is often used as an entry-level stepping stone in your certification journey towards PMP. Regarding the test itself, you're only tested on the PMBOK guide, and there are no external materials beyond the PMBOK guide itself, unlike the PMP. The exam is a 3-hour exam consisting of 150 multiple choice questions, and of those 150, 15 of them are experimental. So what can you expect on the PMP exam? The format of the exam is a computer-based pass-fail exam. There is no percentage score that indicates a passing score. You either pass or fail based off of a formula related to scoring averages in given domains. In this case, the process groups: initiating, planning, executing, monitor and controlling, and closing. There are 200 questions on the 4-hour exam, 25 of which are experimental. The quantity of questions will consist of a ratio of 13% initiating, 24% planning, 31% executing, 25% monitor and controlling, and 7% closing. The exam does afford us the ability to mark our questions for review. So if you have a tough question and you can't quite make a confident decision, make your best guess, mark the question, and move on. Be sure to answer every question. Any unanswered question is 0 points. At the end, a numeric score will not be given, and a passing score won't be disclosed, but you will immediately receive a pass or fail result. Finally, language aids are available if English is not your first language. Be sure to notify PMI in advance if you wish to leverage this option. The types of questions you may experience are the situational or scenario-based questions, lengthy questions, questions that have more than one plausible answer, questions that challenge a common sense answer versus a PMBOK guide answer, questions that try to mislead you with extraneous information, terms or topics that you've heard nothing about before, questions about mathematical calculations, such as earned value management, long and complicated critical path diagrams and calculations. They may try to mislead you by offering up a correct answer to a different question. Now keep in mind, on this exam, every question is an island. There is nothing about a prior or subsequent question that has anything to do with the question you are currently working on. So try not to be tricked if an answer seems familiar. Finally, you may be exposed to a new approach to a known topic. The PMP exam is truly one of the most difficult exams that you will undertake. As such, you must study, create good study habits, time management skills, and your test-taking endurance to succeed in this exam. The exam tests both your substantive knowledge and your reading comprehension skills. Keep in mind that it's not sufficient to know all of the terms, formulas, and framework items from the PMBOK alone. You must be able to apply them in complicated reading comprehension scenarios. Finally, recognize that your questions may be long and wordy, and they may make you sift through irrelevant information. Do what you can to identify the key facts that help you identify what the right answer might be.